I will not have any spoilers in this video, so I will not show any campaign gameplay, and instead I'll be playing multiplayer as I go off and talk about it. I'll see you then. What is going on, everybody? This is Vapes Gaming here, coming at you with my official Star Wars Battlefront II campaign review. To start this off, I'm here in the career section on the main menu, going to the campaign milestones. As you can see, it goes up to 12 missions for the campaign. Each mission, some of them were longer, some of them were shorter. I'd say each one was about 20 to 25 minutes on average. Some of them were a lot shorter than that, though. There are also hidden items on each campaign mission. I have not found them all, and honestly, I'm not going to find them, and you'll learn why in this review. In this video, I'm going to talk about the campaign, and in particular, I'm going to talk about the story graphics, the story as a whole, and if it was really worth $60 for the story alone. I will not have any spoilers in this video, so I will not show any campaign gameplay, and instead I'll be playing multiplayer as I go off and talk about it. I'll see you then. Alright, now that we are online, we are doing the Battle of Kashyyyk right now. Now let's talk about some of the campaign. Now, in essence, the campaign, it looked like, the scenery-wise, it looked amazing. It looks just as good as it does on multiplayer. And for that, being in a single-player campaign, I mean, that's really nothing new. The fact that it transferred over into multiplayer, that was a big part of it. I mean, the game itself looks fantastic, except for one part of the campaign. And that was basically every single player model's face. To me, they just looked incredibly cartoony compared to the rest of the game. I mean, you can't have... Okay, obviously, it's supposed to look cartoony. I mean, it's Star Wars and it's all computer generated anyway. But the fact that the faces just looked so messed up compared to the rest of the game, it was really something that was really difficult to overcome. When you play the game, the player faces are a large part of what you're going to be seeing outside of... Oh, hold on, is this triple? No, okay, I completely messed that up. But you'll end up seeing the player faces a lot, and the fact that they look just so kind of smudged, it doesn't look like they put any effort into the facial models. It looked pretty bad. It wouldn't have been such a big deal if they hadn't played such a crucial part of the campaign, but they did, so I do have to give them marks down for that. Second part of the thing that I wanted to talk about today is the overall campaign story. It was pretty lackluster, to be perfectly honest. I mean, 12 missions, that's pretty standard for a game, but I beat through the entire campaign on the second highest difficulty in like 5 hours. It didn't take long at all, and at the end of it, I felt like I wasted my time, because I could tell where the story was going basically the entire time. Uh-oh. But because of that, when I was about halfway through, it made me feel like I really didn't even want to play it much anymore. Aside from the graphics, there was really nothing noteworthy about the campaign at all. To keep it spoiler-free, you do play as other characters aside from the main character that you start at the beginning, and that's probably the coolest aspect about it. You don't get them a whole lot, but you do get to play as other people during that campaign, and that kind of made it feel like the story was a lot more circular than it really was. But overall, like, was the campaign itself worth $60? Just no. It definitely wasn't. And it wasn't so because of those key factors. There's no reason that the faces should have looked like that at all. And if you're gonna go off and put in the effort to go off and make a campaign, it should be more than 5 hours. I mean, I get more of that out of a Call of Duty campaign. And Call of Duty definitely has a lot more of a replayability factor, campaign-wise, than this game did. I felt like the campaign itself was more or less just a waste of my time. I could tell exactly where the story was going, I could tell exactly what was going to happen, and that was basically it. Another cool thing that they did in the campaign, however, was include space combat. Now, obviously, if you bought the first Star Wars Battlefront, that was a huge disappointment, knowing that we would not have any space combat in that game. However, the fact that we have our own game modes in space for multiplayer, and we also had several different occurrences of where we could fly a fighter in the campaign, it helped tie everything in together even more as you got prepared to head into multiplayer, just like any campaign should. If you go into a campaign, you should know some of the guns, you should know what's good, what's decent, what's bad, and you should be able to have an overall you should get a good layout of the controls and how everything works before you go off and verse real people online. Some games don't do that. I don't feel like the first game did that. Obviously, since there was no campaign, it kind of just threw everything at you at once. But I feel like that really helped change in this game, as it was kind of like a practice round where it didn't really count, but you still got a story out of it at the same time. Am I getting shot? I am. Oh, here we go. Get back in. Okay. We made it. Okay. But for $60, unless you're going to be spending a lot of your time on multiplayer, this game is definitely not worth the money. The story just wasn't up to par with what we're used to getting, especially with what other games have brought to the table. Namely, Call of Duty, for example. The campaign this year was just amazing. And a couple years prior, the stories really just, they weren't anything to write home about or anything. That's kind of like this game. And Call of Duty changed that, and with Activision knowing that they needed a campaign for this game, I'm surprised they didn't put a lot more effort into this game than, well, the campaign at least. I'm surprised they didn't put a lot more effort into the campaign, especially since it was supposed to be like a huge target market, like a huge selling factor about the game, and they didn't do it. Now, replayability factor, it's extremely low. Unless you're going back for the collectibles, I don't see anybody playing through that campaign more than one time. And the difficulty level, I just felt let down with that. There were 3 difficulty levels, basically an easy, medium, and a hard. And I went through on medium, and I think I died twice. And one of those times is because my controller died. Like, overall, it was just a huge letdown. I didn't have... Okay, hold on, we're getting that. No one goes into a game like Battlefront and expects some huge campaign. It's just like, whoa, it took up 25 hours of my time, this was great. Like, you don't go off and you don't expect that from a game, especially a game that EA goes off and produces and whatnot. But the fact that it only took about 5 hours, and the game itself was so ridiculously easy, and the storyline was so shitty, like, it was just a huge waste of time. So please, if you are even considering about buying Battlefront, you have to know that unless you're spending time on multiplayer, just don't bother. Especially with the pay-to-win system that was in it for multiplayer already, that EA already had to go off and address out on Twitter, and the fact that they're going to be changing it because so many people just hated it. Like, I mean, multiplayer has its own issues, and if you want a multiplayer review, please let me know in the comments. I will definitely make sure to do that. I wanted to focus more on the campaign in this video. It just felt so rushed, and it felt like no effort was put into the game itself for campaign. It's just ridiculous. At least with multiplayer, you have a huge selection of different maps. They all look like unique and original. It makes it really feel like you're on that planet. And you didn't get any of that when you were playing the campaign. The fact that the campaign was like one of the most requested aspects of that game, and it just didn't happen, it's highly disappointing from a Star Wars fan. And I think it's a huge bust for the EA as a whole, because with all of the multiplayer scandals and stuff coming out about it being a pay-to-win system, they're not selling as many games as they wish they would be right now. Oh, they have Luke and Rey out. This is going to be a battle. Let's go. I am so ready. I've never used this guy on multiplayer. Oh, I suppose I should mention, the campaign, it took place during and after Episode 6, but before Episode 7. So overall, that's the official storyline you're looking at. The time place that they had for the campaign was very, very well. I just feel like the story wasn't written well, and the lack of like good facial animation and whatnot, like the fact that it was so cartoony, Where am I getting shot from? Quit shooting me in the ass, please. Oh, there's a grenade there. Yup, let's watch out for that. Alright, where'd you go? I know there's a guy here. There we go. Let's... Oh, yeah. This is like the first time I've used a hero on multiplayer, so pardon if I'm like super duper excited, but this is so cool. Alright, we're sabotaging the door ourselves. Now we're defending. There we go. We have a hero in here. I think we're alright. Oh, you're dead. You already know you're dead. Oh, ow, 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 ow. Yeah, dude, this is so cool. Alright, oh, there's an officer. Ah! I tried. That was so cool, though. That was a lot of fun. The fact that they made the multiplayer, like, fun in this game, and you could, like, put some time and hours into it, kind of makes up for the lack of the campaign. But then again, you're kind of stuck with the same situation as they were in the first game, because you had the multiplayer. It was still kind of like that system of where you're supposed to put like a whole bunch of different hours into the game, but there was nothing that like kept you there. And with this game, I feel like if you go off, you can play this like a couple times a week, no problem. But it's nothing like a Call of Duty of where you can simply just log on and you're good to go. It's several hours of entertainment. I don't feel like that's the whole purpose of it. And with no campaign helping to back that up, I don't see this game going much of anywhere. Ooh, there we go. Don't die. Oh, wow. Either way, this is Vapes to Gaming. I hope you enjoyed my in-depth review on the Battlefront 2 campaign. If you'd like to see a multiplayer review, please leave it in the comments, and I will get to it very, very shortly. I'm currently in the process of getting a computer, which I will make a separate video on that entirely. But the laptop that I'm using to record my stuff on, it's just taking a huge shit on me right now. So I do need to figure something else out. But if you would like that, please let me know in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe for more content. This is Vapes to Gaming. I'll see you next time. Bro, I think I just got a 4 kill streak off of 1 grenade. What the heck?